thought Nancy's presentation was very inspiring. I like that she started with nothing and built a fantastic business and touched so many people along the way and helped women to not limit themselves and to know that there's much more that we can do and there's no age limit.
Nancy Butler is the founder of Above All Else, Success in Life and Business, an organization focused on helping individuals realize their dreams, as well as assisting businesses to craft client relationships and increase their bottom line. We're really looking forward to hearing your presentation on how to live life to the fullest and be a well-heeled woman. Welcome.
Thank you. I have 8 keys to happiness, independence, and success. And where they come from is from my own background and experiences. I've had a very unique, unusual background, which you'll hear a little bit more about. These 8 keys to success, you can apply at home, at work, in your personal life. You can apply them just about anywhere. The first house we ever had been built incorrectly. And while we were all in it, the living room burst into flames. My youngest daughter took a doll that I had made her a couple of months before as a gift, grabbed the doll, ran outside. My older daughter, who was a teenager at the time, grabbed a bottle of shampoo and a blow dryer, ran out of the house. My husband and I stayed behind. We never left. We started pulling things out that were real important to us until the fire department got there. When it was all done, we were all fine. We were all safe. The house could be fixed. I had to ask my daughter, I said, my God, with everything that's in this house, what were you thinking? And she said, all I can think of is no matter what happens to this house, you're going to make me go to school tomorrow, and I'm not going if I can't do my hair. Some of the things I needed to learn to do, again, we had very, very little money. So it's all a matter of how do you pull together your resources and make the best of what you've got. Back then, there were no computers, no cell phones, no calculators even. Do you remember those little red clickers where you add up, you click and add up? Well, I had a certain amount of money to spend at the grocery store, and I had one of those clickers. And if it went $1 over, I'd have to put something back. So I learned to get things when they were on sale because I could bulk up and spread out the meals over 2 weeks. Whereas if I went shopping every week, you don't want to eat the same thing over and over and over again. And after a while, I actually kind of liked it. I got to the point where I enjoyed the challenge of what could I do out of the box to make this even better. I ended up going to like singles dances, and getting a date was not a problem. The problem was it was all the wrong guys. And I couldn't figure out what the heck am I doing wrong till I finally figured it out. The guys that I listened to that I really liked, I was nervous. I couldn't be myself. I'd kind of stand off to the side. I was shy. The guys I didn't care about, I was relaxed. I said whatever I wanted because I really didn't care. And those were the ones that asked me out. So as soon as I figured it out and I swapped it and learned how to tell the guys I didn't want to go out with, sorry, I'm not interested, and learn how to be myself with the ones I did want to go out with, it switched really quick, which was really kind of nice. When I decided to do the business on my own, I was offered a salaried position at higher pay than I had ever had in my life. And I turned it down and decided to start my own business with only $2,000 instead. My mother, everybody else said, who the heck do you think you are? You've got to put food on the table. You know, you were offered a salaried position, more money than you ever made, and you're not going to take it? What's the matter with you? You're being selfish. But I couldn't listen. The reason I didn't take it was I was 31 years old at the time, and they were hiring me at the top of the ladder. It was the top position in the company. There was no place to go after that. Did I want to be stagnant for the rest of my life? No. If I started my own business, the sky was the limit, and I would be able to control my own time. So I could be home to get the kids off to school. I could come home in the afternoon when they got home, get them doing their homework, go back to the office, back and forth, but I could juggle it all. If I worked for someone else, I couldn't. So don't let what people say around you keep you from being the person and doing the things you really want to do. You know it inside, they don't. And here's what I consider a good goal. So when you set goals for yourself, here's the definition of a goal. Goal is not a good goal if it's something that's just going to happen on its own regardless of what you do. It's just going to fall into place. That's not a good goal. It's also not a good goal if you have to stretch so hard that odds are you're never going to make it. That's not a good goal. A good goal is kind of in the middle. It's not going to happen automatically. You have to work hard. You have to stretch to make it happen. But if you do that, you can get there. And as long as you have that kind of goal in mind, every October when you look back, you'll be able to feel great about the progress you made, even if you haven't arrived. To me, I'll never arrive. Because once I arrive, I might as well die. What's left after that? So there's always pushing forward past the next, past the next. Next is motivation. What motivates you? What excites you? What gets you up in the morning? What puts you to sleep? What do you really hate doing? I've always said in every job, there's things you're gonna love and things you're gonna hate, but you need to try to find something where it's in the middle and you spend most of your hours doing the things you love. If you're gonna spend more of your waking hours at work than anywhere else, wouldn't it be great to have an office where everyone was doing what they're best at and what they love, and they're interacting with each other? So I decided that's what I was going to have. And by the time I sold the practice, that is what we had. Everyone had specialties. However, I'm also a firm believer that you don't have just one person in the office that knows how to do something. They have to be cross-trained, because if somebody's out sick or they up and quit tomorrow or their husband moves away, you need to be able to run your practice, your office, your building, your business, regardless of what happens. So they were cross-trained, but their primary job was the thing that they were best at and they absolutely loved. And within 12 months, I had almost doubled the income that I had the year before I let everybody go. The way I look at it, you only go around once. You gotta make the best of what you've got. I'm a firm believer that you don't have control over the feelings that come over you, but you do have control over what you do with those feelings. You can have two people be exposed to exactly the same problem. One person will have a nervous breakdown and fall apart, and the other person will come out stronger because of it. And you get to decide which side of the fence you fall on. You have no control over yesterday's newspaper. What happened yesterday is done, it's gone. But every morning when you wake up, you do have control over what happens for the rest of your life. My husband and I now, I am remarried, go to charity auctions a lot. And there happened to be an African safari on the charity auction. And he said, I don't want to go. It's too long of a flight. So I called my daughter in Florida. I said, if your mother wins this, do you want to go? She said, heck yeah. So my daughter and I, my youngest daughter and I, were on an African safari on her 40th birthday. During the safari, they told me that the cheetah just ate, and if I wanted to get out and lay down and pet him, I could. It's called taking calculated risk. So there's me laying down with the cheetah. There were other cheetahs all running around in the back. So what's the calculated risk? Number one, he just ate. Number two, there was a guy standing there with a gun, if there was an issue. I never told my husband I was going to do this, even though I knew before I left I was going to do it. After we got home, I told him, and he said, what if he wanted dessert? I hadn't thought of that. Were we afraid? A little bit. There was a gun, he ate, we're okay. Before we left, my daughter said to me, you know, Mom, there's something on my bucket list and you can only do it in South Africa. Would you do it with me? I said, you know me, I'll try anything. How many of you have watched Shark Week on TV? We flew from Durban, South Africa to Cape Town, and I, in my mid-60s, did a shark cage dive. And I had an underwater camera, and as they lowered the cage into the water, they had food on the end of a rope and pulled it around the cage to attract the sharks. And as they lowered me down, I got the perfect shot right through the spokes of the cage of a shark as I was going down. Was I afraid? Yeah. But actually, before we got on the boat, my daughter said, I don't know if I want to do this. I said, you're too late. I already paid for this. We flew 2 hours to get here. We're doing this. You're going to make me get in that cage. I'm going to make you get in that cage, and we're going to do this. After we did it, how invigorating was that? What an experience for a mother and daughter that we will have for the rest of our lives. So step out of your comfort zone. It doesn't, I'm not saying you have to do this stuff, but find something that really excites you. Because if it's an everyday thing, it's not going to matter that much. I got them in my car and we drove to Mystic to the train station, and I had rented Segways. As soon as they got out of the car, I parked up at the end where they couldn't see the Segways. As soon as they got out of the car, I locked the doors. Then they saw the Segways and they said, oh no, we're not doing this. I said, oh yes you are. I said, well, here's the rule. I'm not going to force you to do something you really don't want to do, but they require you to practice in the parking lot for 20 minutes. I said, you will practice for 20 minutes. You don't have a choice. After 20 minutes of practicing, if you really don't want to do it, I'm not going to force you to go out and do it. We did it for over 3 hours. We went over the Mystic Bridge. We went all down by the water. They had a blast. So that's my husband and me and the 2 grandkids. I'm a firm believer you do the right thing, the money will come. And it worked. It did work. So ethics is really important. And the other reason why I bring it up, not just in business, don't let others sway you away from what's important to you and what you know is ethical. When you go home at night and you go to sleep, you're the one that's got to sleep. You're the one that's got to feel good about what you just did. You've also all heard the saying, do unto others as you want others to do unto you. I say that's wrong. In fact, in my first book, I wrote that. That is wrong. Why is that wrong? Just because you like it that way doesn't mean everybody does. You should be doing unto others as they want to be done to. I mean, think about it. I've got 2 daughters. They are night and day. If you saw the 2 of them standing here next to me, you wouldn't even know they were related. One's blonde, petite. The other one's big boned, dark hair. I mean, they have nothing in common personality-wise. They have nothing in common looks-wise. They are very different. If I treated both of them exactly the same, would that have been fair? They have different likes, different dislikes. They have different things they're good at, different things they're bad at. And it's a matter of wrapping yourself around what that person needs and not doing what's good for you. I was there with 10,000 women from all over the world, most of which who didn't speak English. And just seeing and learning from all of those, I wish all of our kids could go to a session like that, because we are so advantaged here compared to what some of the other countries and what some of these other women have to go through. The one thing that I really loved was there was no politics. It was all women sharing what their biggest issues are and sharing what they're doing about it with each other. So everyone could hear and speak to everyone. It was absolutely amazing. Here's why technology around the world can be a problem. A lot of the financial resources that have been available to, say, South Africa for many, many, many years, they have a really hard time with it now because a lot of it has gone online. In order to be able to get the financial assistance, you have to fill out forms on the internet. They don't have the internet. They don't have computers, and even if they did, they don't know how to use them. They have no way to get there. They don't drive. They don't have a car. So they can't apply for financial assistance that used to be available to them. One of the sessions I sat in on was through Malaysia. And I was there for like 2 hours with Malaysia, and they solved their problem. And they shared it with everyone, which was absolutely amazing. What Malaysia did was they set up kiosks, like over 1,000 of them, all over the country that are manned, so that you can go anytime you want to these kiosks. They train you how to use the technology to the point that they now have women that have gotten their high school diplomas online, gotten their college education online. Things are good, things are getting done. As much as we hear all the negativity out there, sessions like this are what really make a difference. And sessions like today, giving the opportunity to talk to people and learn about things that maybe you wouldn't have known otherwise. Self-confidence, to be sure in yourself and your abilities. Don't let somebody else put you down. You know you can do it, get out there, do it. Vision for what the future could be. Set goals, but make them realistic and celebrate all your successes along the way. If you don't get there, that's okay. Readjust your goal. It's your goal. You can change it. What's your passion in life? I used to tell my kids, you can do pretty much anything you want in life. Tell me what it is you want. I'll tell you what you need to do to have it. If you're willing to do those things, you will have it. If you're not willing to do those things, you don't really want it. I don't want to hear it. Go find something else that excites you. Get out there, do what you can do. If you don't have the money, find the other things that you can do. But age is just a number, and you can decide to be unlisted.
She gave us so many tips that we can do without a lot of money. Anybody can do what she has talked about. We just have to modify it to make it ours. She had wonderful examples of how to carry them out, and I thought she did a great presentation all the way around because it was also humorous and kept our interest.